if you read Genesis 1, 2, and 3 with a careful eye, you'll see that all three books clearly debunk the veracity of the Bible. And it's particularly obvious between Genesis 1 and 2, the creation stories, because you've got two creation stories. In Genesis 1, 26 to 28, we are told, now watch what we're told here. Again, this is a fairy tale, a fable per Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Paine, and all the other videos that I've done. I mean, this is not a real, this is a fable, like Pinocchio. So God said, let us, which means there was an us involved in creation. Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness. And so God, along with his us's, the others, created mankind in his own image. And look at this, males and females were created together. He created them, male and female, he created them. And then he blessed them and said to them together, collectively, and it's them. And it wouldn't just be two, it would be them. Be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth. So that's it. Genesis 1, man and woman, male and female are created. Go forth, be fruitful, increase in number, which means they knew how to increase in number. They knew what their genitals were for in Genesis 1. This all goes bye-bye in Genesis 2, because in Genesis 2, we get to meet the Feudal Lord. So very clearly, in Genesis 1, man and woman were made simultaneously by God and his fellow makers of mankind. Then we get the Feudal Lord Yahweh. Now Yahweh was worshipped before he became the God of the Bible, right? So I'm just calling him the Feudal Lord because it's a fable, and well, look at his behavior. So this Feudal Lord Yahweh builds a garden and then creates Adam out of dust to tend his garden. There was no male and female created together to go increase, multiply, subdue the earth, and was blessed by the creators. No, in Genesis 2, you got one dude made from dust. And this dude has said he's allowed to name trees and animals. Poor slave Adam. But he's told, you do not eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, or Adam, you will die. So that's what we're told in Genesis 2. So it turns out the garden was too much work for Adam to do by himself, so Feudal Lord Yahweh creates Eve from one of Adam's ribs. Now remember, Genesis 1, male and female were created together in the image of God, and a bunch of them were put on the earth to be fruitful and multiply, and they were blessed together. There was no man made from dust, woman made from a rib. It's all bullshit, you can see. So, but we know that Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 are totally, obviously different. And in the garden, Adam and Eve, they're naked and they're unaware of it. So without such knowledge and without the knowledge of sex, how could they, as a part of the man he created in Genesis 1, go forth and multiply? Because that's what we're told exactly in Genesis 1, correct? Okay, so we know that there are two completely different stories. And then Genesis 3, we get introduced to the serpent, the talking serpent. Oh my God. And Christians, of course, believe this. So they believe him. It's just unbelievable. It's like their frontal lobes have completely shut off. So the truth-telling serpent tells Eve that Yahweh is indeed a liar, because if you eat of the tree, it will not kill you, but rather the fruit of the tree will open your eyes to the knowledge of good and evil. So Adam and Eve, even Adam, ate of the fruit and they did not die, which demonstrates that the first lie of the Bible was told by the character that billions believe is the actual God of the universe. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that incredible? It's terrifying. What else do we know about this liar God? Well, if he's a liar, then he would probably lie about him having to be to fall in line with his commandments to the rest of us, right? Thou shalt not kill, that kind of stuff. Thou shalt not covet, thou shalt not steal, that kind of thing. Right. So we know that this liar God engages in all those bad behaviors, as I demonstrated in my most recent video about Numbers 31. Well, here it is again. This is Numbers 31, where it reveals that Yahweh in this book, this fable book, is a God of lust, greed, and murder. Here is the lust. The murder first, right? The murder. The murder is kill all women who have slept with a man. Kill all little boys, 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, kill them all. And the fathers were all killed. So all that's left, keep the virgins for yourself. So murder everyone. Murder the mothers, fathers, the little brothers, but keep those virgins for yourself, manifesting lust and greed in Numbers 31. And the same Numbers 31, we are told that this feudal lord got a bunch of gold and livestock as well. So Numbers 31 reveals the liar from Genesis 2 and 3 to be a God of lust, greed, and murder. And in Genesis 8, we are told that this same God loves the smell of burnt flesh. Isn't that incredible? Christians worship a God who is a liar, who lusts after virgins, after slaughtering their families, and covets gold and silver. And of course, if I didn't say it again, I'll say it again, loves the smell of burnt flesh. So these Christians, as opposed to just doing what Jesus said in the Bible, which is the golden rule, which is what every religion says, that's where the agreement should be. Now, Christians won't do that. They actually believe that this lying, lusting, greedy, murderer God who loves the smell of burnt flesh should be worshipped. Isn't that incredible? Worshipped. And these same fools actually hallucinate demons where they do not exist. How incredible. Look at what this Bible has done to the world. As opposed to viewing it as a book of good and evil that we can learn from ourselves, fake religion has been created that involves, lying about going to hell, raping children, and desolating nations. It's amazing.